This Christmas was a unique one for me. I was trapped in my room, unable to see friends or family. I potentially have COVID, and so needed a distance from everyone. That means I didn't get any gifts. And for me, this end of the year is always about gifts. My entire life is about getting gifts. Should be more gifts in my life. I think everybody's like that, right? Like, if you could always be getting gifts and you didn't have to give anything back, wouldn't that be the best? If you could always be getting gifts and they were always good. Well, this is a story about a good gift that I got. Actually, you know what? Let's hear from some other people, because I know people have tons of stories about gifts. Gift giving is always an experience, good or bad. I wanted to know what other people have experienced over the years getting and giving gifts. And so today I wanted to give us a little peek inside of that experience for other people. I have a story that I want to share about a gift, but I think I'll save that to the end. And I'll let you listen to some other people's stories about gifts that they've received.
So a gift that was really inspiring for me was a sewing box from my Aunt Marlene. And she was very crafty. She handmade the box. It was beautiful, and it had all different kinds of thread and needle and patterns and like the sewing hoop. And I think that was the beginning of me really like making stuff by myself. I think I was like 8 or 9, and even though I had drawn and with crayons and done things like that, there was something about the colors and getting to like pick and choose that was really fun for me. And it also made me feel grown up, because a lot of my aunts sewed, my mom sewed, and so getting to play with sharp things on my own, I think, empowered me to make more things, and it was really fun.
Devin is an artist, and I asked her if there was a gift that she had received early in her career that set her on a path. And I really like this because you can see it was something that was special to her family, and they chose to give it to her as a way to include her, and she really took it and ran with it. Next up is a couple and who have been married about a year, and I asked what were some of the gifts that they'd given one another as their first Christmas together. I thought it would be important to hear, what does people in love do for their first year of Christmas?
Our first Christmas together, Mark got me a skateboard, and it felt very exciting because he said, this is something that we can learn to do together. And it was almost like a fun little adventure gift that he gave. And I liked that idea of like adventure and learning something new. And I got him a wetsuit, which was funny because we both got something new, a new activity for each other to try. And again, I just think it goes back to like first year of marriage, and just all this exciting new adventures and new activities. You're learning to cook together. You're learning to do the chores and all this stuff. It seemed just only natural that we got each other just new activities. And so that was a good gift. It goes back to the gift of time and how we want to spend time together. We want to do activities together. We want that quality bonding. And so that was one of the best gifts, the skateboard. Funny story, he ended up sort of learning to skateboard and ended up getting run over by a car on a skateboard. And I was out of town, so he got rushed to the ER and got stitches in his left elbow from a skateboard. So that's a fun story. You got run over by a car.
I was riding on the side of the car, and the tire happened to graze my elbow by running it over. Just my arm, though, not my body.
From a skateboard onto a car.
Hey Ian, so the gift that I have that has a lot of significance to me is a small 5-inch ceramic figure. It's a little, like a young boy using an antique camera, and there's like a bird sitting on top of the camera. My grandma had given it to me one day when I went over to her place just to visit and say hi and check up on her. She told me that my grandpa had gotten it sometime in like the 40s or the 50s, and that she thought I should have it because it reminded her of me since I like photography. And it's just nice to think that like she looked at that little figure and she thought of me and it reminded her of me. So I thought that was very sweet. But the figure is extra significant to me because that visit was the last time I saw my grandma alive. A few days later, she was rushed to the hospital, kind of like in the middle of the night. And then she had passed away the next day. And it was all just like really sudden and shocking because she didn't really have any like major health issues. And so the figure is just really nice to have because it's a nice little token that every time I look at it, I can think about her and like be reminded of how thoughtful and caring she was to all of her kids and grandkids. Like just thinking about how nice that it was that she just saw this little figure and like connected it to me. But also it just like it serves as a reminder, like you never know when an interaction with like a friend or a loved one's gonna be your last, so you kind of just have to make the most of your time together, make sure your loved ones know how you feel and that you love them.
That was really special. And now here is my gift. Okay, so this story takes place when I think I was in middle school. I think I was in 8th grade. And it's hard to get gifts for an 8th grader, I think. You're not a kid, you're not an adult, you're not a teenager. I can't give you money because what are you going to buy? You're 13, right? And my parents got me a CD player and a couple CDs. I think it was The Police Greatest Hits and maybe, what's his name? Billy Idol Greatest Hits? Super random. Two super random. Maybe there was a Beatles CD in there too. No, you know what it was? It was a Monkees Greatest Hits. Man, such a random mix. That moment in my life was so impactful because it helped me bridge the gap from being a kid, listening to what my parents wanted, listening to Radio Disney, and being able to choose what I wanted to listen to, because now I wasn't having to listen to music in the car with everybody else. I had a brand new yellow Sony CD player that I could listen to on my own. And that CD player lasted me throughout high school. I had to ride the bus in high school. And every day I would listen to, whatever number of CDs I could carry in my backpack. And it was like an 1.5-hour trip from my school to my house. So, I mean, imagine albums back then were, an hour-ish, maybe, 40 minutes. It was super valuable for me to, one, be able to have a place where I could listen to music. This is obviously before MP3 players. I could choose the things that I listened to. This was one of the first ways that I would experience freedom. Freedom, autonomy, maybe not freedom, but autonomy certainly, where I was able to make decisions on my own. Obviously, those first few years I was listening to whatever my parents were buying or my family was buying, and the things that I was comfortable with, if I did purchase music. But over the years, I got into more and more music. I ventured out further from the things that my parents were listening to and developed my own taste and connected with people over music. And this was at a time when your identity was tied to the music that you listened to. This isn't so much the case anymore. Pretty much it seems like everybody listens to everything. But at the time, you wouldn't be cool if you were hanging out with this group of people, like the metalhead kids, and you listened to pop. Like, you just wouldn't, it just wasn't a thing. Or like if you, I mean, you might listen to those other things, but it wouldn't be the main thing that you were listening to. And like, your identity was the music that you listened to. And getting that gift in junior high started me on this journey of discovery and becoming part of the person that I am today, a music lover, and was super important for me. And it wasn't until this year that I realized how silly and unimportant that thing was. But I'm wondering what things in your life have had a similar effect. Something that seemed pretty minor at the time, but really, this gift that somebody gave you, they took the time to think about who you were. Or maybe they didn't. And that was the reason that it really succeeded, right? That was the thing that really pushed you to become a different person. I don't think we often get gifts that alter the person that we are. Man, that's a good gift. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with that. Think about a gift that has altered the person that you are. And my challenge for you this year is to give a gift that alters who another person becomes. Man, that's a challenge. Good luck. I'm excited for you. Special thanks to everyone who shared. Devin, Rachel, and her husband, and Shane. It really means a lot that I was able to talk to people about their gifts and just learn a little bit more about people in my life.